And when Adam and Eve submitted unto Satan, they are the ones that empowered Satan. In a sense, man made Satan. God created Lucifer, but man made Satan. I used this example last week that in a sense, Satan used mankind like a hostage and said, God, if you get me, you're going to have to destroy them also. They willingly submitted unto me. But now God himself became one of the hostages. And now God had the authority to deal with Satan. And I mean, Jesus defeated Satan on every level. Satan made the huge mistake of crucifying Jesus and took him to hell. And when Jesus went down into the lower parts of the earth, I mean, he came out of hell. He destroyed Satan, not only here in this physical earth, but he went down into the lowest parts of the earth. He defeated Satan, and he came out with the keys of death and of hell dangling on his side. Begged Jesus to let them enter into a pig. Why? Because a pig has more authority than the devil, because it has a physical body. A slug, a worm, amen, fungus has more power than or let me rephrase that, more authority than the devil, because it has a physical form. It's really very appropriate to call Jesus the Word, because God spoke him into existence through dozens or possibly 100 different people over a 4,000-year period of time. The Holy Spirit took these words and impregnated Mary.
With the amount of error and the number of untruths in his teaching, Andrew Wommack has the audacity to have a program on Christian television called The Gospel Truth. Now, Andrew Wommack is on local television in 35 states in the Union. He's on every Christian network, God TV, Inspiration Network, Daystar Church Channel. He's on Sky Angel. He's on every continent in the world on television and on radio. His reach into the homes of people is incredible. And most people criticize false teachers. The favorites are T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen, Kenneth Copeland, whatnot. But Andrew Wommack is under the radar. He's under the radar of most people. And if you watch him, you'll see that he's very folksy, very genteel. He's got that southern drawl. He's on TV, very plain spoken. He got his blue button-down collar shirt, looking very preppy, and he just looks so convincing. But I consider Andrew Wommack the most dangerous man on Christian television. And the reason is because of the reach that he has, and the reach he has with what he teaches. Now, I turned on television a couple of days ago. I was watching Andrew Wommack, and within 2 minutes, I noted at least 20 factual errors that he stated before I just stopped taking note. He provides no scriptural reference for what he states, and the scriptural references that he does provide, they are very often out of context. But for the most part, he just riffs. He just says stuff. In the short clips that I played for you, he says that man made Satan. He says that pigs, fungus, snails have more authority than the devil because they have a physical body. He said that Satan crucified Jesus, that Satan took Jesus to hell. Now, that's just for starters. That's just the stuff I'm showing you all. And by the way, there's a link to his website where you can see these sermons for yourself in their entirety in the more info section to the right of the video. Now, there are studies that show that Christian media is the single greatest manner in which persons are introduced to Christianity, through Christian media. Not through church, but through Christian media. Television, radio, internet. So one of the criticisms against me is, why do you focus so much on TV preachers? Well, because of the stranglehold that they have on the media, on Christian media, and because of their ability to influence the Christian population, their ability to influence thinking. So then the correct transmission of the doctrines of the faith is something that is of great importance. Now, it's one thing to be wrong and to be wacky, but it's another thing to be heretical. And heretical is what Andrew Wommack is in his teachings. When you teach something that is in direct opposition to the basic doctrines of the faith, meaning the nature of God, the nature and deity of Christ, the virgin birth, etc., then you are in a dangerous position, particularly as a preacher or a teacher. And the Bible admonishes us to warn that person, and then after a sufficient number of warnings, that person is to be avoided because that person is condemned. I'd like you to listen to these clips of Wommack, and then I'm going to come back and comment.
He spoke everything into existence. And when he had absolute authority and power, he hadn't delegated it yet to his creation, he just spoke Adam and Eve into existence and they came into being. But after he had created them, he turned the control, the authority to rule and to dominate this earth over to physical human beings. And now that mankind had yielded themselves to the devil, how was he going to create the second Adam, as it mentions over in 1 Corinthians chapter 15? One that didn't have sin flowing through his blood. It had to be a virgin birth. He needed the physical body, but he needed to be sinless. And so there needed to be another creation, similar to the way that Adam was created. But God no longer was in absolute control, so he couldn't just speak him into existence. What he had to do was flow through people and get people to speak the things that needed to be said so that Jesus could come into this earth. Now this is major. This term Son of Man always refers to the humanity, the physical side of Jesus. The term Son of God refers to the divinity side of Jesus. So he's saying here, the reason I have authority to execute judgment is because of this physical body. So this answers that question. Why did Jesus have to become a man? Couldn't God have done things other way? No, because God is a spirit. God had to become a man to come down here into this domain and have power and authority.
So in these clips now this is just in one broadcast, Wommack has denied the nature of God by saying that God lost control of the earth, has the ability to lose control of the earth, and that and further that he requires the participation of man in order to bring Christ into existence. He's in effect saying that God is not God, that God does not have the ability. If God does not have the ability to be in control at all times, then he's not God. He also said that Christ was spoken into existence. So then he denies the pre-existence of Christ. He also denies the deity of Christ, because one of the basic doctrines of the Christian faith is that Christ is God, that he has always existed, so he cannot be spoken into existence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what people are being taught all over the world, and it's a shame. Not only that, this man has a Bible college where he's teaching people this. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Wommack is the most dangerous man on Christian television. He should be avoided. His teaching should be avoided. And if your pastor teaches this, then you might need to make a decision about staying there. God has always been in control. God has never taken himself out of the loop. Christ has always existed. Christ was not spoken into existence. Christ did not go to hell to fight with Satan. He wasn't beaten up by Satan. He said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. Watch out for Andrew Wommack. Take care and God bless.